Want to speak real Urdu from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at urdupod101.com.
In this lesson, you will learn some of the most common greetings used in Pakistan. क्या आप तैयार हैं? Are you ready? तो चलिए शुरू करें. So let's begin. Let's start with a greeting you are sure to have heard before. Assalamu alaikum. This is a phrase that is so closely associated with Pakistan and Islamic culture that it has become famous all over the world. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. The phrase Assalamu alaikum is actually Arabic for peace be on you. We use it as a formal as well as a friendly greeting. It's used when people meet at any time of the day, morning, noon, or evening. Use this and you will surely impress your Pakistani friends. In Urdu, using different greetings for each time of the day is not very common. When talking to friends, we usually just use the English phrases, but there are equivalent Urdu versions. They are just not used that often. If you meet someone before noon, you can say Subha bakhair. Subha bakhair. For later in the day, you can say Sham bakhair. Sham bakhair. But most of the time, you can just say Assalamu alaikum and not worry about it. Now let's move on to the expressions we use for saying goodbye in Urdu. A parting expression that we can use for all occasions is phir milenge, which means see you. Phir milenge. Phir milenge. The first word phir means again, and the second word milenge means we will meet. Let's look at one more expression. Alvida. Alvida is an Urdu word which means farewell. Alvida. Alvida. It is an appropriate choice when parting for a long time or forever. Now it's time for Afra's advice. As we learned in this lesson, Assalamu alaikum can be used at any time of the day. But this all-around greeting is not just for saying hello, but for saying goodbye as well. It really is a very useful phrase and you should remember it by heart. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to introduce yourself in Urdu. There are only 2 sentences you need to know. Assalamu alaikum. मेरा नाम अफरा है. आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई. Hi, my name is Afra. Nice to meet you. Start by saying Assalamu alaikum. Then say मेरा नाम, then your name, and then say है. Please repeat after me. Assalamu alaikum. मेरा नाम, your name, है. Finally, say आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई. आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई. Together we have Assalamu alaikum. मेरा नाम अफरा है. आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई. Let's take a closer look at the first sentence. First is the phrase Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum in Urdu is equivalent to hello. Next is mera, meaning my. This is a way to refer to yourself which can be used by both men and women. Next we have naam, meaning name. Then you say your name, and finally we have hai. Hai is attached to the end of the sentence and literally means to exist. In the first sentence, we have the construction mera plus naam plus your name plus hai. The structure of simple Urdu sentences is different from English. In Urdu, the word order is subject, object, verb. The second sentence we have is आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई. आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई can be used by both men and women. It means nice to meet you. It is used when meeting someone for the first time. आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई. आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई. Again, all together it is Assalamu alaikum. मेरा नाम अफरा है. आपसे मिलकर खुशी हुई. Now it's time for Afra's advice. Pakistani people do generally shake hands with people of the same gender and often hug them as well. If you're unsure, just say Assalamu alaikum and shake hands with people of the same gender as you. However, in a business situation or with people from the opposite gender, you might refrain from shaking hands.
Most people who learn a foreign language learn it so that they can one day have real-life conversations with native speakers. When you start out learning and crack open your first textbook or listen to your first podcast, having a real conversation can feel like a fantasy. When everything about a language feels new, it can be overwhelming. But this couldn't be further from the truth. While it does take a significant amount of time and effort to become fluent, having a conversation might not be as far off as you think. In this video, we'll look at 3 ways you can boost your conversational skills and start talking to native speakers. Number 1, find native speakers and practice with them. It's unlikely you live near a big group of native speakers to practice with. If you happen to be in a major or international city, your chances may be better. Check and see if your city has a general language exchange. Chances are there could be a native speaker there who is also trying to learn another language. Practicing in person with a native speaker is probably the most interesting option for honing your speaking skills. But if you can't find anyone where you live, the next best option is to look online. Luckily for language learners, the past 10 years or so have seen an explosion in online language exchange sites. On these websites, you can search for someone who is a native speaker of your target language and is also learning your native language. The idea behind a language exchange is that you communicate with them via video or text chat, and half of the time, they help you practice your target language. And for the other half, you help them practice theirs. Practicing via an online language exchange is a highly effective way to practice your conversational skills. Number 2, work on pronunciation. Pronunciation is often an overlooked skill when it comes to learning a foreign language. Most people think of a good foreign accent as a luxury rather than a necessity. But what most people don't talk about is how having a good accent boosts your listening and comprehension skills. If you can hear a sound from a foreign language and know how to make it yourself, then you're more likely to understand native speakers when they talk at normal speed, and you're also more likely to remember any new words or phrases you come across. Having a good accent means that the language no longer sounds foreign. Instead, it sounds familiar, maybe even natural. So how do you go about perfecting your accent? The best way is to break down the language into its individual sounds. Make note of any sounds that are the same or similar to your native language and of those that are different. Of the sounds that are different, spend your time practicing the ones that you find the hardest to say correctly. After you're comfortable with the individual sounds, you can start linking together words and phrases. This is where accent practice starts to get really fun and interesting. Get your hands on some native speaker audio from a TV show, song, or podcast. Play the audio back and listen closely a few times. Take note of how words blend together in speech. Then, do your best to imitate what you hear, trying to match the speaker's emphasis and intonation. Our language learning program's playback feature is perfect for this. Record yourself and compare it to the original recording. Rinse and repeat until you're comfortable with the audio selection, and then move on to something more difficult. This is how you can break through the accent barrier and really start to make the language your own. Number 3, learn phrases, not just individual words. Learning grammar and individual words is great, but it's not the only approach you should take if you want to speak fluently. In addition to your regular grammar and vocabulary, try learning whole phrases, even if you aren't totally sure how they work grammatically. Learn phrases that are specific to your needs. It's a good idea to learn phrases that are grouped around a certain setting or subject, such as simple greetings or introductions, questions for getting to know someone, or traveling comfortably. You can even learn filler phrases, which you can use so that you have something to say when, well, you don't know what to say. Learning phrases like this will help you become conversational faster. You may not understand what you're saying literally, but as long as you know the general meaning behind the phrase and know when to use it, you'll be able to talk like a native. Eventually, your knowledge of grammar and vocabulary should catch up with the phrases you know. Learning a new language should feel like an adventure. There will be plateaus and periods in your learning where it feels like you're hitting a wall, but being able to speak with native speakers and have real conversations will help you combat language fatigue. After all, talking to someone face-to-face in a foreign language is one of the main reasons we start learning in the first place. And for even more ways to gain conversation skills, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.
In this lesson, you are going to learn how to use good manners when you thank people. क्या आप तैयार हैं? Are you ready? तो चलिए शुरू करें. So let's begin. Saying thank you in Urdu is very easy. It's just one word. Shukriya. Shukriya. Shukriya means thank you. You can emphasize shukriya by adding बहुत, which means very much. So it becomes बहुत shukriya. बहुत shukriya. Thank you very much. So now you have learned how to say thank you in Urdu. But how will you reply if someone else says thank you to you? In Urdu, you are welcome is sometimes expressed as आपका खैर मुकद्दम है. आपका खैर मुकद्दम है. You can also respond to someone who has thanked you by using another expression. This is कोई बात नहीं, which literally means it's nothing. कोई बात नहीं. कोई बात नहीं. So when someone says shukriya to you, you can simply reply with कोई बात नहीं or आपका खैर मुकद्दम है. Now it's time for Afra's advice. Pakistanis do not always use the expressions for thank you and you are welcome in everyday situations. It is a concept literally translated from English. Native speakers often show politeness simply by using polite pronouns and verb forms while speaking.
Hello, आपका नाम क्या है?
हेलो, मेरा नाम अली है और आपका नाम क्या है?
मेरा नाम आशा है.
आशा जी, आपका नाम अच्छा है.
आपका शुक्रिया. कमाल जी, आप कैसे हैं?
ओह माहिमा, मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ और आप कैसी हैं?
मैं भी अच्छी हूँ. आपका शुक्रिया.
आपका बेटा कैसा है?
वो बहुत अच्छा है. आपका शुक्रिया.
आपके पास कितनी बिल्लियाँ हैं?
मेरे पास एक बिल्ली है.
और कितने कुत्ते?
2. मकान नंबर 20 कहाँ है?
वो यहाँ से थोड़ा दूर है.
क्या बस वहाँ जाएगी?
जी हाँ, बराहे मेहरबानी बस नंबर 12 लीजिए.
आपकी उम्र क्या है?
मैं 30 साल का हूँ.
आपके कितने बच्चे हैं?
मेरे कोई बच्चे नहीं हैं.
Top 10 questions that you should know. So let's get started. आपका नाम क्या है? What is your name? So the first question is, आपका नाम क्या है? What is your name? मेरा नाम अफरा है. My name is Afra. आप कहाँ से हैं? Where are you from? आप कहाँ से हैं? Where are you from? मैं लाहौर से हूँ. I'm from Lahore. आपकी सालगिरह कब है? When is your birthday? आपकी सालगिरह कब है? When is your birthday? मेरी सालगिरह नवंबर में है. My birthday is in November. आप कहाँ रहती हैं? Where do you live? आप कहाँ रहती हैं? Where do you live? मैं लाहौर में रहती हूँ. I live in Lahore. So guys, you're going to notice that in a lot of questions, I'm going to be using some words which I'm going to change according to the principles of masculine and feminine nouns and verbs. And if you want to know more about it, please do visit our website. We have a whole other series explaining Urdu nouns and verbs and how the rules of masculine and feminine apply to it. So please try to stay with me on this one. आपका phone number क्या है? What's your phone number? So the next question is, आपका phone number क्या है? What is your phone number? मेरा फ़ोन नंबर ये है. My phone number is. So you just have to replace your number with the word ye, and ye literally means this. आपने उर्दू कहाँ से सीखी? Where did you learn Urdu? आपने उर्दू कहाँ से सीखी? Where did you learn Urdu? मैंने उर्दू urdupod101.com से सीखी. I learned Urdu from urdupod101.com, which would be true in your case. Okay. क्या आप पाकिस्तानी खाना पसंद करती हैं? Do you like Pakistani food? क्या आप पाकिस्तानी खाना पसंद करती हैं? So if you're a guy, you would be using करते हैं, but if you're a girl, you'll be using करती हैं. Do you like Pakistani food? जी हाँ, मैं पाकिस्तानी खाना पसंद करता हूँ. Yes, I like Pakistani food. क्या आप पाकिस्तान गए हैं? Have you been to Pakistan? क्या आप पाकिस्तान गई हैं? Have you been to Pakistan? जी हाँ. Yes. आप पाकिस्तान में कहाँ जाना चाहते हैं? Where do you want to go in Pakistan? आप पाकिस्तान में कहाँ जाना चाहते हैं? Where do you want to go in Pakistan? मैं लाहौर जाना चाहती हूँ. I want to go to Lahore. आप पाकिस्तान में कितने दिन के लिए हैं? For how many days are you in Pakistan? आप पाकिस्तान में कितने दिन के लिए हैं? For how many days are you in Pakistan? मैं 5 दिनों के लिए पाकिस्तान में हूँ. I am in Pakistan for 5 days. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another lesson at Urdu Top Words. Our today's lesson is 10 ways to say hello. Let's get started. Subha bakhair. Subha bakhair. Good morning. Subha bakhair. Good morning. See, there are 2 pronunciations for this word. One is subha bakhair, and you can also say subha bakhair. I don't know which way sounds more natural to you, but I think it's more to do with your tongue, how you roll it. So usually I say it like subha bakhair. Hello. 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 Again, it's not a traditional Urdu word. We have gotten it from another language into the Urdu language. It is a more common word spoken in among friends and people in Pakistan. Especially when you are on the phone. Like the moment you pick up the phone, they say, hello, assalamu alaikum. Like they first say hello, like hello, and then assalamu alaikum. बहुत वक्त हो गया आपको देखे. बहुत वक्त हो गया आपको देखे. Long time no see. बहुत वक्त हो गया आपको देखे. Long time no see. It's a very polite comment, which I think you can use it more in a formal situation, and it's safe to use with people you really know well, or people you hardly know. You know, it's just a safe, polite comment. आप कैसे कैसी हैं? आप कैसे कैसी हैं? How are you? आप कैसे हैं? आप कैसी हैं? When you're talking to a guy, you would use कैसे. When you're talking to a girl, you're using कैसी. How are you? It's pretty simple when you're meeting a person just now and you're talking about present, so you would be using this sentence, not the previous one. Please make sure if you learn these sentences, please remember the difference. Just a tip, guys. See, hai is for present, always. All the sentences which ends with hai are for present. And all the sentences which are ending with ta, ti, te, they are always for past. It's just like in English we have is and was, or are or were. कैसा चल रहा है? कैसा चल रहा है? How's it going? कैसा चल रहा है? How's it going? Yeah, this sentence, I think it's more casual when you're between friends, or you're meeting your sister, and bunch of people who knows each other from very long time, I think they usually use it with each other. But yes, I don't think you should use it in a very formal situation. आपका दिन कैसा रहा? आपका दिन कैसा रहा? How's your day? आपका दिन कैसा रहा? How's your day? It's a very good sentence to know. I mean, when your husband comes back, or people are returning from their work, you can ask them about their day, and you just ask like, "आपका दिन कैसा था?" Yeah, "आपका दिन कैसा गुजरा?" How was your day? How did your day go? Something like that. क्या चल रहा है? क्या चल रहा है? What's up? क्या चल रहा है? What's up? It's a super casual sentence, and I think we usually use it with our friends, family members, but I don't think for a formal situation it's more suitable. Maybe in a formal situation you should use a bit more serious Urdu. Yeah, I mean, it's super casual, super casual, guys. Sham bakhair. Sham bakhair. Good evening. Sham bakhair. Sham bakhair. Good evening. Again, guys, we really don't use this word anymore. Maybe some people who are from Urdu-speaking family, By Urdu-speaking family, I mean like their parents and their grandparents, they have been speaking Urdu as a mother tongue. They might be more prone to using these words in their day-to-day conversation, but I really don't hear it a lot, at least in my age group. I mean, people of my age group, and I'm not really that old. Just for the record, 26 only. So I don't really see those people using it. Instead, we usually use like good morning, that is like suba bakhair, and good night, shab bakhair, but we never use these two words like for good afternoon and good evening. But I would say assalamu alaikum. This is the safest word you can use in any time of the day. Like the moment you see a person, just say assalamu alaikum. So it's kind of hello. Whatever may the time be, because you just saw him, you just say assalamu alaikum, and it's safe. आपसे मिलकर अच्छा लगा. आपसे मिलकर अच्छा लगा. It's nice to meet you. आपसे मिलकर अच्छा लगा. It's nice to meet you. A good sentence to always know if you're meeting new people, or you're meeting someone after a long time, if you know them. Yeah, but if you know them for a very long time, it sounds kind of illogical to say aapse milkar acha laga, because you're meeting them because you like them, But yeah, it's a good sentence to know if you're meeting new people. सब कुछ कैसा है? सब कुछ कैसा है? How's everything? सब कुछ कैसा है? How's everything? Again, super casual, but this you can also use in your formal situations. I mean, there is a very right amount of balance in the sentence structure. So yes, you can use it with your bosses. I mean, in your workplace. So guys, this is the end of another lesson. If you like the video, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Please comment below and tell me what is your favorite phrase for saying hello when you meet new people. For me, it's just hello and aapse milkar acha laga. It's nice to meet you. See you until next time. This is your host, Afra Zahid. Hello and Assalamu Alaikum. This is Afra and welcome to our series, Urdu Top Words. So our today's lesson is Top 10 Foods That Will Kill You Faster. So let's get started. Tale hue khane, fried foods. So the first one would be, of course, tale hue khane, fried foods. तले हुए खाने सेहत के लिए नुकसानदेह हैं. Fried foods are harmful to one's health. People of Lahore, Lahoris, are famous for their fried food and the street food. And I think it is almost unavoidable in all the street food that we have in Lahore. Everything is fried. Everything, even the vegetables. Mithai, sweets. So the next word will be mithai, sweets. मुझे मिठाई पसंद है. I like sweets. So in Pakistan, we have all those sweets like barfi, gulab jamun, rasgulle, and they are
they have lots of sugar in it and they are really, really harmful for your health. But I would ask you to try it because they are really delicious. Jame hue khane, frozen meals. Jame hue khane, frozen meals. Jame hue khane mazedar nahi hote. Frozen meals are not tasty. I think it is not very common in Pakistan to have as in cooked frozen meals, like you just take them home and just microwave them and just eat it. But we do have those frozen meal. I wouldn't say frozen meals, I would say frozen food, as in nuggets and some meat that is frozen, and also we have frozen vegetables. So they are not exactly a meal, but yeah, frozen food. Aloo ke chips, potato chips. Aloo ke chips, potato chips. मुझे आलू के चिप्स पसंद हैं. I like potato chips. I do. Margarine, 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 margarine. Margarine सेहत के लिए अच्छा नहीं है. Margarine is not good for one's health. Microwave popcorn, microwave popcorn, microwave popcorn, microwave popcorn. मुझे माइक्रोवेव पॉपकॉर्न पसंद नहीं है. I don't like microwave popcorn. Are you kidding me? Instant noodles, instant noodles, instant noodles, instant noodles. In Pakistan, you would hear 2-minute noodles, Maggi noodles, but what it means is instant noodles. And Maggi noodles, even though the company is not Maggi, there are many companies who are manufacturing or making this product, but Maggi is just such a big brand name that the kids are always asking their moms, like, I want Maggi noodles, but the company is something different. So yeah, what it means is that they want instant noodles. For example, instant noodles banana aasan hai. It's easy to make instant noodles. Candy, 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 candy. बच्चों को candy पसंद है. Children like candies. Soda, 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 soda. हर रोज soda ना पिएं. Don't drink soda every day. So in Pakistan, it is really common to have soda in summer season because our summers are like really hot, really hot. All these drinks are quite unhealthy, but the one drink that I recommend to almost all the tourists that they go to Pakistan is ganne ka ras. It is a syrup made from sugarcane, and if you are feeling really hot and you're outside, just go to a stall and you ask them, give me raw sugarcane soda, and it's quite healthy for you, and they'll make it fresh in front of you. You can see all the big sugarcane getting in the machine, and the syrup is coming from the other side. So it's quite healthy actually. Basically, you can see this soda, or you can see this drink being sold in on small stalls in the streets, and you just go there and just say, "Mujhe ganne ka ras dein. Mujhe ro ka glass dein. Give me a glass of sugarcane soda or sugarcane syrup." And there are two words that we use in Urdu for this. One is ganne ka ras, and the other one is ro. Mujhe ro dein. Give me a sugarcane soda or drink. Shakkar, sugar, shakkar, sugar. वो अपनी चाय में ज़्यादा शक्कर डालता है. He adds a lot of sugar to his tea. Okay guys, this is the end of another lesson. See you until next time. Allah Hafiz.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Welcome to another lesson of Urdu Top Words, 10 reasons to learn a language. So I'm going to get started. Are you ready? ये एक खूबसूरत ज़बान है. It's a beautiful language. ये एक खूबसूरत ज़बान है. It's a beautiful language. I think any language would be beautiful if you feel that way, particularly about that language. For Urdu, I would say it's a very deep language. So one word has many meanings and quite a lot of depth into it. And when you use those words in songs or in poetry, it really comes off in a very different color. पाकिस्तानी दोस्तों के साथ बात करने के लिए. To chat with Pakistani friends. पाकिस्तानी दोस्तों के साथ बात करने के लिए. To chat with Pakistani friends. मैं पाकिस्तानी दोस्तों के साथ बात करने के लिए उर्दू सीख रही हूँ. I'm learning Urdu to chat with my Pakistani friends. For learning any language, it's a big motivation if you know that you're learning that language particularly to talk to someone or to talk to your friends. So it becomes much more easy for you to look at the bigger goals in your life and just say, oh, I'm learning the language because I really want to talk to my friends, or I really want to talk to my partner. So I guess it's really a good reason for learning any kind of language. तर्जुमा करने के लिए. To do translations. तर्जुमा करने के लिए. To do translation. हमें तर्जुमा करने के लिए एक मुतरज्जिम की ज़रूरत है. We need someone to come translate. Translation is actually quite a serious business when you are doing it in terms of your work, and you need a very strong grasp of that language when you're translating some documents. But if you have the dedication and commitment to learn that language, I'm sure you can do it. It's not that difficult. You just need the right kind of direction, and you need the right kind of material in order to achieve that certain level in order to do translation. And with the world becoming a global village, I think there are more opportunities for you to translate the material in Urdu language. Subtitles के बगैर फिल्में देखने के लिए. To watch movies without subtitles. Subtitles के बगैर फिल्में देखने के लिए. To watch movies without subtitles. मैं subtitles के बगैर पाकिस्तानी फिल्में देखने के लिए सीख रहा हूँ. I'm learning Urdu to watch Pakistani movies without subtitles. The Pakistani film industry is changing from the past few years, and we have now some new names in the industry like Shoaib Mansoor and Sharmeen Obaid, who actually won an Oscar for Pakistan in a documentary. These movies are all based on some social topics and depicting the culture of Pakistan, the problems in the society, and ongoing feuds in the tribal areas. In order to watch these movies and having a better understanding of the culture of Pakistan and the problems that are prevailing in that environment, learning the language is very important. So I hope that you guys can enjoy those movies without subtitles. Don't be so overwhelmed by any language. Try to take it step by step, and I'm sure that you will get there where you don't need the subtitles at all. पाकिस्तान में रहने के लिए. To live in Pakistan. पाकिस्तान में रहने के लिए. To live in Pakistan. मैं पाकिस्तान में रहने के लिए जा रहा हूँ. I am going to live in Pakistan. As daunting as it may sound, but living in Pakistan is actually quite fun. There are a lot more colors, more food, more culture, many things that you can actually go and experience in Pakistan. Plus, Pakistan is a developing country, so it's quite cheap for a foreigner to go there and enjoy all those perks of a true Pakistani experience. पाकिस्तान में ज़्यादा खुशगवार छुट्टियों के लिए. To have more enjoyable vacations in Pakistan. पाकिस्तान में ज़्यादा खुशगवार छुट्टियों के लिए. To have more enjoyable vacations in Pakistan. पाकिस्तान में ज़्यादा खुशगवार छुट्टियों के लिए बाहर के मौसम में जाएं. To have more enjoyable vacations in Pakistan, go in the spring season. Vacations in Pakistan, I think they're beautiful, beautiful. If you're on vacations, I would recommend you to go to the north side of Pakistan. And the north side right now, it's not really developed in terms of tourism. So it's not spoiled. You know what I mean? It's not really touched. So you really get to see at first hand all the natural beauty that is there. The mountains, the greenery, the flowers, the meadows. So I would really recommend you to have at least have 1 month, 1 to 2 months with you if you're going on a vacation, because there is a lot to see and you cannot cover it in a week's time. नगमे के बोल समझने के लिए, to understand song lyrics. नगमे के बोल समझने के लिए, to understand song lyrics. नगमे के बोल समझने के लिए आपको उर्दू ज़बान में महारत हासिल करना होगी. In order to understand song lyrics, you need to become an expert in Urdu. As I always tell you, don't get overwhelmed with learning any language. Getting the lyrics straight away, it's not going to happen. You need to do it step by step. So start with something small. Start with some nursery rhymes, and gradually you will proceed to the level that where you can understand a song when you hear it the very first time. We have all kinds of music in Urdu language. We have classical, we have jazz, we have pop. We do have the Sufi music, which is exceptionally beautiful, and it's related more to the spirit. I think you need to be very strong in Urdu in order to understand that kind of music, but I'm sure you can do it. नए दोस्त बनाने के लिए, to make new friends. नए दोस्त बनाने के लिए, to make new friends. नए दोस्त बनाने के लिए आपको दोस्ताना होना पड़ेगा. You have to be friendly in order to make new friends. A point of caution here, guys. In Pakistan, you need to know your limits when it comes to making friends with males and when it comes to making friends with females. For example, you will always shake hands with a male friend, but you're not expected to do it when you meet your female friend. So you need to have a better understanding of the culture when you're also learning the language. फ़ोन पर पाकिस्तानी रिश्तेदारों के साथ बात करने के काबिल होने के लिए, to be able to speak with Pakistani relatives on the phone. फ़ोन पर पाकिस्तानी रिश्तेदारों से बात करने के काबिल होने के लिए, to be able to speak with Pakistani relatives on the phone. मैं फ़ोन पर पाकिस्तानी रिश्तेदारों से बात करने के काबिल हो गया हूँ. I'm able to speak with Pakistani relatives on the phone in Urdu. We have seen an increase in population of Pakistani residents in the UK, US, and Canada. With that, there comes a need to learn Urdu language for their at least third generation or fourth generation. So I guess it is a healthy way to learn Urdu via website or the material available on internet and practice with it. And then it will become easier for you to talk to your relatives on the phone. पाकिस्तानी कंपनियों के साथ कारोबार करने के लिए, to do business with Pakistani companies. पाकिस्तानी कंपनियों के साथ कारोबार करने के लिए, to do business with Pakistani companies. पाकिस्तानी कंपनियों के साथ कारोबार करने के लिए मैं पाकिस्तान जा रही हूँ. I'm going to Pakistan to do business with Pakistani companies. As I said before, we are a developing country and we have a tremendous increase of population year by year, which makes us a more viable economic opportunity for other countries. So if you are looking for a cheap market to invest in, a cheap labor to manufacture your product, then I think Pakistan is the next hotspot for you. So I hope, guys, you like this video, and if you like it, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to please comment below if you have any other questions regarding this topic. Please feel free to ask and I'll be there to answer for you. And in order to get more Urdu videos and material to have a really advanced level of Urdu, don't forget to go to our website www.urdupod101.com. See you until next time. This is your host Afra. Allah Hafiz.
In the last lesson, we learned the numbers from 1 to 10. Do you remember them? Just in case you have forgotten, I'll tell you again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now let's continue from 11. 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, 16 17 17 18 18 19 19 Urdu numbers from 1 to 100 are quite irregular with no definite pattern. So the only way to learn them is to memorize them. It might seem daunting at first, but you will soon recognize a rough pattern. Now, here are the rest of the tens. 20, 20, 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90, 90. While you have to memorize many of the numbers, there is a trick that will make memorizing them easy. Notice that 30 is 30 and 40 is 40. Do you remember what 3 and 4 are in Urdu? Well, let me remind you. 3 is teen and 4 is char. As you can see, the sound T of teen, which is 3, is used in 30 or 30. Teen, 30. Similarly, the sound cha in char, which is 4, is used in 40 or 40. Char, 40. Do you see other similarities? 5 in Urdu is panch, while 50 is pachas. The common sound is pa. Unfortunately, this does not apply to all numbers. 60 in Urdu is sat, while 6 is che. As you can see, there is no common sound. The last thing to learn in this lesson is how to form compound numbers above 20. You already know that the number patterns in Urdu are quite irregular. So you might be wondering if you have to memorize each and every compound number. The answer is yes, you do. However, we are going to make your life a little bit easier with this brilliant tip. For any number between 20 and 99, you will say a variation of the numbers 1 to 9, followed by the tens. Let's try it out. How would you say 34 in Urdu? You first say a variation of 4, followed by a variation of 30. So 34 is literally read as 430, which is 34. Here, chaun is a variation of the number 4 or char, and 30 is a variation of 30. Chaun, 30. 61 is 61, which is literally read as 160. Ik is a variation of ek for 1, while sat is a variation of sat for 60. Ik, sat. Let's look at one more number, 95. In Urdu, it is 95, which is literally read as 590. Pacha is a variation of panch for 5, and 90 is a variation of 90 for 90. 95. Now it's time for Afra's advice. Did you get until number 99? Here is another number you might want to know. 100. 100. That's 100 in Urdu. In the last lesson, you learned how to count in Urdu. I hope you spent some time practicing the numbers because they will come in handy in this lesson. You are going to learn how to go shopping in Pakistan. Before we go, you need to know how to say, how much is this? Iska daam kya hai? Iska daam kya hai? Are you ready to go shopping in Pakistan? Let's go. You see something you like and want to ask the shopkeeper how much it costs. The first thing to say to a shopkeeper is, maaf kijiye. Do you remember what that means? Excuse me. Maaf kijiye, iska daam kya hai? Excuse me, how much is this? Maaf कीजिए. इसका दाम क्या है? If you want to be more specific when asking how much is this and refer to a certain type of object, you just need to insert the object in between the word iska, between is and ka. Let's see an example. Suppose you want to buy a hat in the market. Hat in Urdu is topi. So, how much is this hat? In Urdu is topi ka daam kya hai? Is topi ka daam kya hai? But what if you want to buy several things? Then you would have to use a new word, inka, which means these. Excuse me, how much are these? In Urdu is, maaf kijiye, inka daam kya hai? Maaf kijiye, inka daam kya hai? At this point, the shop clerk can answer by saying, iska daam, the price, then hai, or ye, the price, then ka hai. For example, iska daam 50 रुपए है, ये 50 रुपए का है. What number is 50? I'm not telling you. Okay, it's 50. So altogether, this means it costs 50 rupees. Now it's time for Afra's advice. Another very common way of asking how much is it is, ye kitne ka hai? And if you want to be more specific and mention the thing you want to know the price of, all you need to do is insert the object after ye. Ye seb kitne ka hai, which means how much is this apple? In the last lesson, you learned the phrase iska daam kya hai, meaning how much is it? In this lesson, let's take a look at how you might answer that question by counting rupees in Urdu. In Pakistan, the currency is the Pakistani rupee, but in Urdu, we call it rupeya. Let's try to say prices in Urdu. Start by trying to say 26 rupees, 26 rupe, 26 rupe. This is really straightforward. First, we say the number followed by rupee. There's only one simple catch. For all the numbers except one, you use the plural form rupees, which is rupe. Rupe. For one, you use the singular form rupee, which is rupeya. Rupeya. So 1 rupee in Urdu is ek rupeya. Ek rupeya. The Pakistani rupee uses coins for 1, 2, and 5 rupees, and banknotes for higher denominations, the highest being 5,000 rupees. On the other hand, the smallest denomination is 1 rupee, meaning there are no cents used in Pakistani currency. Let's see some more examples of currency. 87 rupees is 87 rupees. 87 rupees. Ready for another example? 44 rupees is 44 rupees. 44 rupees. Now it's time for Afra's advice. Often you will hear people saying paise instead of rupee. Although this might sound confusing, it's simply another way of referring to money. In the last lesson, you learned how to count rupees. Did you practice at home? In this lesson, we are going to learn useful phrases to talk about your schedule. For example, how do you ask your friend, "What are you doing this weekend?" Since you are asking a friend, we'll use the informal form. Let's start. To ask a male friend, say, "तुम इस हफ्ते के आखिर में क्या कर रहे हो?" तुम इस हफ्ते के आखिर में क्या कर रहे हो? And to ask a female friend, say, तुम इस हफ्ते के आखिर में क्या कर रही हो? तुम इस हफ्ते के आखिर में क्या कर रही हो? Let's break it down. तुम is the informal way of saying you. इस हफ्ते के आखिर में means this weekend. Next is may, which means in. After that comes the question word kya, meaning what. And finally we have kar rahe ho, meaning are doing. This is used when addressing a male. When addressing a female, we use kar rahi ho. Now what if you need to ask this question in a formal situation? It's very easy. We did it in lesson 4, remember? First, turn tum into aap, the formal pronoun for you. Then just change ho to hain because it's referring to aap instead of tum. Everything else stays the same. So when asking a male, you would say, आप इस हफ्ते के आखिर में क्या कर रहे हैं? आप इस हफ्ते के आखिर में क्या कर रहे हैं? And when asking a female, you would say, आप इस हफ्ते के आखिर में क्या कर रही हैं? आप इस हफ्ते के आखिर में क्या कर रही हैं? What if you are not asking about this weekend? Asking about a different time period is as easy as replacing इस हफ्ते के आखिर with another time period and the conjunction may with an appropriate one. Let's try it. Say you want to ask about a weekday, like Peer, Monday. Here you will use the conjunction को, meaning on. So it would be आप पीर को क्या कर रहे हैं for a male and आप पीर को क्या कर रही हैं for a female. What about tomorrow? Tomorrow is kal. In this case, you don't need a conjunction anymore. So you can just say आप कल क्या कर रहे हैं for a male and आप कल क्या कर रही हैं for a female. Now it's time for Afra's advice. So if someone asks you, तुम कल क्या कर रहे हो और तुम कल क्या कर रही हो, how can you answer? Here's an example. मैं दफ्तर जा रहा हूँ if you're a male and मैं दफ्तर जा रही हूँ if you're a female. This means I am going to the office. Feel free to replace daftar, office, with any other location. In the last lesson, you learned how to make plans in Urdu. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the verb to be, hona. You will also learn how to ask the question, where are you from, and how to answer it with your nationality. When you meet a new person in Pakistan, they might ask you, आप कहाँ से हैं? This means, where are you from? आप कहाँ से हैं? Let's break it down. You should be familiar with आप, the formal word for you. The next word, kahan, is the question word where. Then comes se, meaning from, and finally, hai is the conjugated form of the verb to be, hona, that is used with the pronoun aap. It is similar to the English are. Once again, it is aap kahan se hain. This question can be used when speaking to both men and women because the verb to be, who, is the same for any gender. Answering this question is very easy. Just say main, then your country name, and then say who. For example, मैं रूस से हूँ. मैं रूस से हूँ. This means I'm from Russia. If you're not from Russia, then just replace Rus with your own country. मैं जापान से हूँ means I am from Japan. मैं अमेरिका से हूँ means I am from America. मैं चीन से हूँ means I am from China. You can also answer the question, where are you from, by saying your nationality instead of which country you are from. The pattern is मैं, your nationality, who. Remembering the vocabulary for most nationalities is very easy. Just add the sound E to the end of the name of a country. Be careful though, because the rule does not hold true for all countries. Let's take a look at some examples. If you are Japanese, you will say मैं जापानी हूँ. If you are Chinese, you will say मैं चीनी हूँ. If you are German, however, then the pattern would be different. You need to remove the Y at the end of the name Germany, so it will be मैं जर्मन हूँ. To return the question, you can simply say और आप, which is and you, in a polite way, or आप. Now it's time for Afra's advice. Islamic Republic of Pakistan is the Pakistan's official name, but people normally use just Pakistan. The name Pakistan has its roots in the religion Islam. Pakistan literally means clean land. In the last lesson, you learned how to talk about nationality. In this lesson, we will continue to talk about the use of the verb to be, hona. This verb is also used to talk about location, to say things like, I'm in the street or he's in the room. So it's very useful. When you want to know where someone is in a formal situation, you would ask, Aap kahan hain? That means, where are you? This is a very useful phrase and people use it often when they are talking to people on the phone. Aap kahan hain? Let's break it down. Aap is the formal word for you. Next is the question word kahan, meaning where. In Urdu, question words begin with a ka sound. Then finally we have hain, the conjugated form of the to be verb hona. That is used with the pronoun aap. As we said in the previous lesson, hona does not change according to gender. So this phrase can be used by both men and women. Aap kahan hain? For informal situations, we simply replace the formal you, which is aap, with the informal tum. And because we are changing aap, we also have to change hain to ho. Does this sound confusing? Remember that with the formal pronoun aap, we use hain, and with the informal pronoun tum, we use ho. So it becomes tum kahan ho? Tum kahan ho? Answering this question is very easy. You just say main, meaning I, then the place where you are, then say main and then whom. Main means at or in. In Urdu, it comes after the location it refers to. Who is the verb to be and is equivalent to am in this sentence. Please do not confuse main, meaning at or in, with main, which means I. Main. Main. Now let's see a few examples. I am in the market would be मैं बाजार में हूँ. मैं बाजार में हूँ. I am at the office would be मैं दफ्तर में हूँ. मैं दफ्तर में हूँ. I am in a meeting would be मैं एक meeting में हूँ. मैं एक meeting में हूँ. Another useful expression with the verb who is when you answer the phone. To give your name, simply say मैं, then your name, then who. So when I pick up the phone, I often say मैं Afra हूँ. It's really simple. Let's review the very important verb hona or to be, which changes forms depending on the sentence. So far, we have looked at 3 of its forms. Who, hai, and ho, as in मैं हूँ meaning I am, आप हैं meaning you are in the formal way, and तुम हो also meaning you are but in the informal way. Urdu follows the subject, object, verb order. So here, these to be verbs who, हैं, and ho go at the end of the sentence. Now it's time for Afra's advice. Here's a really useful sentence that uses the verb who. If while in Pakistan you get lost, you can go up to a friendly looking person and say, मैं कहाँ हूँ? बराहे मेहरबानी मेरी मदद कीजिए. Literally, this means, where am I? Please help me.
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.